Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Oh, yeah. It's another thrilling episode of What's Happening in San Diego. And I am delighted to have Lindsay White sitting next to me right now.
I'm also delighted to be here.
Can you feel our delighted aura, listeners on the World Wide Web? Welcome to another podcast. Before we get started talking with Lindsay White and finding out every little thing about her, we're going to play one of her songs. Now, this song is got a video also with it, and it's a really great video. I love Lindsay's videos, by the way. You should know this.
Thank you.
The song is called Surrogate, and we're going to play it right now.
You're the sugar coat on a bitter pill. You're the place I go when an earthquake drill. You will walk to the porch with the bed in your hand, so I don't have to look at the boogeyman. You flash all of the light underneath my bed, and the monsters have not found me yet, but they found you. They surround you, look around you. Yeah, they found you. You're the softest nest in the highest tree. You're a needed kiss on a wounded knee. You crack open a cactus with your bare hands, so I don't die of thirst in a desert land. You rip all of the targets right off my head, and the arrows have not got me yet, but they got you. Yeah, they shot you. Onslaught into you. Yeah, they got you. You're a little bird with a lion's mane. Your dreams deferred in a weather vane. I will scour the depths and the breadth of the sea and collect all the joy that you gave over me. To the queen with her crown I will coronate. I will bow at the feet of my surrogate. I will praise you, 'cause you raised me. My grace traced to you. Thank you, Haley. Thank you, Haley. Thank you, Haley.
That was a really cool song.
Thank you.
It seems to be written about a sister. Is that true?
That is true. It's written about my one and only sister, Haley.
Hi, Haley.
Hi, Haley.
Well, excellent. Now, are you the older sibling or the younger one?
I'm the baby. She's the oldest, although we do look a lot alike. We're 3 years apart, but people think we're twins all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. But she was my big mama bear protector sister, kind of like my mom in many ways that my mom wasn't able to be. So I thought I would write her a little song.
Well, it's really beautiful.
Thank you.
And again, kudos on the video.
Oh, thanks.
Was some of that actual archival footage of your family?
Yeah, so like in the beginning and the end is pretty much the only video that exists of us when we were little. And then we just kind of did an open call for sisters to submit videos of either when they were young or of their kids. We actually have like a pregnant mama and a sister waiting for the baby to come out kind of thing. So the video is a tearjerker. My dad definitely cried.
All right.
Which was my only goal in life.
Aww. when you focused on him during another video for Not a Boy, that's when I lost it. Mm-hmm. When the camera went to him in that video.
Yeah.
I just went, okay, now I'm crying. Now the dad is so happy. And anyway, we'll get to that song later.
Yeah.
But so is Surrogate on your current record, which is also called Lights Out? Is that correct?
Yeah. So it's the first single on the record, Lights Out, which I put out July of last year. So it's still within the year new.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, it was fun. It was my first solo record in quite a while, 7-ish years, because I was doing the Lovebirds before that for about 6 years. We did the Lovebirds, which was a folk pop duo with local artist Veronica May. And then...
That's where I've seen you before.
Yeah.
Is with Veronica May.
Uh-huh.
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 You did a friend of mine's wedding.
Did we?
Yes.
Which one? Who?
Chris and Unison Colthurst.
Oh, yes. I loved that. They put us by like a chalkboard bird cage. It was so cool. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, V's still a dear friend of mine. We're still like family members, but we kind of went our separate ways and pursued our solo thing again for a while, which has been fun and challenging in its own ways, you know,
I'm
all that
sure.
stuff.
How many tracks are on the record?
10.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. And you wrote them all?
I wrote them all.
That's so kick-ass.
That's my favorite part, the writing. Everything else I kind of fake. But the writing is what I love the most about it.
And it's paying off for you. You're being recognized locally. You just won the Best Singer-Songwriter Award at the San Diego Music Awards in March.
Yeah, that was really... I'm still surprised that I even know enough people to vote for me, let alone that I would know enough people that would vote often for me enough to win. So it was a really cool night to be honored in that way. And those things are always fun to attend the music awards because you finally get to see everybody that you never, ever get to see. So I was just looking forward to being there. And then when I won, I was like, oh, my God, really? Now I have to go up and try not to fall, which I almost did fall.
You did?
Yeah. There's a video of me somewhere, like, going off stage, and I'm, like, tripping over my high heels, which I never wear. And thankfully, I didn't fall, but it was close. Not the most graceful person.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So when you were up there, did it happen like in a blur? I'm always curious. Like, does it just, like, do you remember? Were you present? Did you really feel that moment? Or were you kind of like lost in a haze and then you like tried to remember everything and it was all a blur?
Kind of a combo. Like, I wasn't really thinking about any of who might win or anything like that. I was just getting ready to go. And Audrey, my wife, asked me in the car on the way over, she's like, what are you going to say if you win? And I was like, holy shit, I haven't even thought about that. Like, I have given this zero thought. And so on the car ride over, she's driving, trying to find parking space downtown. And I'm like typing out on my little iPhone notes, like who I would thank if I maybe won, because I didn't want to sound like a jerk when I got up there and stumble over my words. So thankfully she asked me that question because I kind of like had at least a cloud of an idea getting up there. So I was able to thank my Jeffrey Joe, who we lost last year, and all the other nominees and all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's very cool.
Yeah.
So did you do the open mic night scene then a lot?
Actually, I got started in San Diego through Catherine Beeks, who you've had on this show, who's just an angel woman. And started playing her showcases. I mean, I did open mics too, and like Lestats and all that stuff. And Catherine was the only one giving relatively unknown songwriters actual showcases. So it was more than your 2-song open mic. She would give you like a 20, 25-minute set wherever she was hosting. So that's where I really got my feet wet and got rid of the jitters and was able to start putting actual sets together. And so she was just like a little, mama bird that helped me fly out of the nest. So
yeah, I connected with her instantly.
She's a dream.
Wow, she's really cool.
I love her so much.
I have got to do more things with her. Mm-hmm. So when you perform now to support Lights Out, is it just you and a guitar, or are you bringing other players? I'm
really trying to get locked into the house concert circuit and songwriter showcases. I've done the loud bar thing. I've done the competing with other noises and venues. And the thing about my music is I feel like I can't pull it off unless you're willing to really engage and listen to the lyrics, because that's my forte. You know, anybody could just, I'm not like the most talented musician, but my lyrics are kind of the thing that are strong about what I do. So I'm trying to move away from louder venues, and that way I can do it solo. And I'm really starting to kind of like have to build my name back up as a solo artist, because locally and even in the folk scene, people recognize the Lovebirds because we were doing our thing for like 6 years. And so now when I'm reaching out to those venues, I'm like, hi, it's still me. And they're like, never heard of you, you know? So in many ways, even though I've been doing this for so long, it's like I'm starting all over again. And so I have a band that, like, if I get hired to play a festival or something and I want to kind of make it more upbeat and work for a crowd, I'll bring in my band. And then my producer, Alex from Studios, I just actually took him on a trip with me to Portland and Bend, Oregon. And he kind of accompanies me, but it's still really simplistic, because that's kind of how I've learned it works the best with what I do. That was a really long answer for your question. I got there eventually. We took the scenic route.
Well, I totally dig what you're saying about when you're trying to be heard, you want to be in a quiet environment. I used to do my one-woman shows, and I would only want to do it at a theater, and people would say, why don't you bring it to a club? I'm like, because no one will listen. They're all ordering drinks and doing stuff and talking and getting up to go to the bathroom or whatever, you know, just dancing around and feeling free, which is great. But when I want people to hear my jokes, I want you to be sitting down.
Right. It should be mutually beneficial for everybody, right? So I feel like if I'm hired to play a gig in a loud bar, I'm not putting my best foot forward, and then they're not experiencing the best I have to offer. So the first impression then I make on these strangers in a bar is that this girl sucks. Who is this girl? But if they can actually attend a house concert where everybody is there to listen specifically, then I think I can have the most impact. So it's taken me a long time to learn that about myself, that I really need to be very selective about the rooms I play.
That's really cool that you're paying attention to what makes you happy, because
otherwise, why are you doing it? Exactly. You know, everybody's miserable at the end of the day, and you're like, why did I pick this path? Where have my choices led me?
Well, it totally shines on your intelligence that you're willing to try things and figure out what works and what doesn't. It's very scientific of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, I touched on this second song a little bit. It's called Not a Boy. And again, tearjerker of a video, Lindsay. But I'm the B in the LGBT.
Okay, gotcha.
And been very active in our San Diego community and also Michigan, where I'm from.
Nice.
And I think I met you at some other thing.
I've
I swear
seen you play before.
Look really familiar
I've
to
seen
me.
you play at Gossip. As soon as I walked in and saw you, I was like, yeah, that's her. We're family already.
Excellent.
There we go.
But Not a Boy, is that your real wedding video?
Yeah.
It's so
You know,
awesome.
I'm on a shoestring budget. I got to just find my content where I can. So, yeah, I just slapped on my own wedding footage to the song and made it a video, because it's very personal. It's about my actual wedding, so.
That part about when you focused on your dad and then the empty seats, you know, and to me, taking it personally, I was thinking of all the people that would disapprove of a lesbian wedding.
Right.
But it may also mean the absence of your mother at the ceremony.
Well, my mother was still alive when we got married in July. She died in February. And I just didn't invite her because there was no point. She told me it was the most respected she ever felt was that I didn't invite her to the wedding. And then Audrey's parents are still alive, and they have similar religious issues with our relationship. I've actually never met them before.
That's so sad.
I know. And so my dad crushed it in the parenting game, right? He was like there representing our one parent out of four.
And, way to go, Dad.
Yeah, go, Dad. And I understand people have different beliefs. I'm not trying to change anybody. I mean, whatever. Do you. But I just kept thinking about like how beautiful she was going to look and how happy she was. And I was like, God, if that was my kid, I would want to be there for that. You know, I can't believe they don't want to be there for that. And she's going to look so pretty. And, you know, it really affected her that she doesn't get that kind of support. And I've been through it once already with a parent that died. And so I know how this plays out. I'm going to meet them in an emergency room, or I'm going to meet them at a funeral. Like, it's going to happen, but it's just going to be the most heightened moment of trauma and emotion that you could possibly have. And it's unfortunate because it shouldn't have to be like that, you know, and nobody has to change their beliefs to come to an understanding and acceptance, you know, but we're just not there yet. And I know a lot of LGBT couples go through this, and not even a lot of straight couples. There's always some kind of friend. There's always some kind of wedding drama, relationship drama with people. And once you lose somebody, that's it. You only have a limited time together with the people you love, and you should just spend that time loving them. Cut and dry, right?
It would seem cut and dry, but unfortunately, like you said, there are barriers to people's ability to accept LGBT reality.
Yeah.
It's not like
that you use the perfect word. It's a reality. And I think people with their religious beliefs, which again, I'm not knocking, you don't have to think it's right, but it is what's happening and what's true and real in this world that you live in. So, you know, you have to somehow find a way to let reality coexist with your beliefs peacefully. And unfortunately, I never got there with my mom, and it's a shame because it just drove this wedge into what could have been a really good relationship. But them's the shits.
It's true. And as I've been so impressed with the way that laws and acceptance have made steady progress, little by little, year by year, one person at a time that meets you and says, oh my gosh, I love you so much. And then you say, oh, I'm gay. And then they say, oh, you know what? I still love you.
Yeah.
I never knew that I could love a gay person. And as one person, one connection at a time, I really feel that that is important. And people do express themselves like you are with your art in a very beautiful, wonderful way that it doesn't exclude straight people. It's just how you're feeling, and you're able to maybe build a bridge to someone's understanding. I know when I came out to my dad, he went, well, I kind of figured, you know, and it was no big deal.
That's all you could ask for.
And I'm like, and I said, well, I didn't want to tell you till I was in love with a woman, because it's hard to explain bisexuality.
Yeah, my sister's bi. It's
almost,
I think it's harder to be bi than lesbian or gay.
It's hard to be called some sort of fake or phony by your own people.
Right, or just because
like
you're attracted to both genders that you suddenly are this like rabid sexual animal that can't control, you know, like.
Well, I am a rabid sexual animal. Let's not get that wrong.
I mean, but that's on you. Not all bi people are, you know, like some.
No, I'm just trying to bring some
different
humor. So let's take a listen. This is Not a Boy.
Comes the bride, all dressed in white, and the biggest grin anyone's ever seen her wearing. It's 1,000,000 miles wide. Couple empty chairs, 'cause you're not there, but she's brave enough to pass them up because she knows love's waiting for her on the other side. You won't see her smile on her wedding day. Walk her down the aisle, give her away. You won't know her joy, hear her vow. I am not a boy surprised that the woman waiting for me just so happens to adore me, and she wants to be my wife. Those empty chairs, they're hard to bear, but there's love in the air, and I'm still gonna swear to love her for the rest of her life. You won't see her smile on her wedding day. Walk her down the aisle, give her away. You won't know her joy, hear her vow. I'm not a boy that changes things somehow. Love is louder than any silencing. I am not a boy that don't change a thing.
I'm crying my eyes out.
I have this effect on people. Everybody after, you made me cry. I'm like, I should sell tissue at my show.
Well,
$1 a square.
it's a beautiful thing. And in the end, my dad, who is a Christian, ended up taking courses in how to explain to people about tolerance.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that wonderful
I love that.
outcome? I mean, that seems so Christian to me.
That is the most, that's
Like
as Christian
you're
as it
like-
gets.
You're like saying, oh, one of God's children. I want to make sure everyone understands. Mm-hmm. And that's so cool. Thank you, Dad, for
Thanks,
that.
Dad.
So I want to talk a little bit about your wife. Is she an artist also?
Not really. She can draw. Like if you put a picture in front of her and say draw that, she can draw it. But she's not super creative. But she is quite an athlete, and that's sort of where her passion lies. She played basketball in college. She worked out with the Mexican national team for a while. Like she's really good, and that's kind of how we connected at first. We were on rec league teams together because I used to play basketball too. So we were just really good friends, played on a lot of teams together, and we were friends all throughout my relationship with Veronica, and our worlds kind of merged together because I realized that her group of friends was also Veronica's group of friends. And I think the reason why our relationship works is because we just knew everything about each other, good, bad, and ugly, for like 6-7 years before we even decided to start giving dating a try. So we didn't have to go through any of that, like, be on your best behavior, or, like, shave your legs, or, like, whatever couples try to do to, like, fake that they're an actual human for the first, like, 6 months. We were just, like, let it all out there, and it's worked so far. I mean, we communicate really well, and I just think that we both had been through enough in our lives that we were ready for each other at the right time. So it's all about timing. So no, she's not creative, to answer your question.
Does she box as well? Because you're a boxer.
Yeah, we both joined the gym at the same time. And, I mean, we don't box like people. We take boxing classes, and I do, like, personal training where I'll, like, spar with a trainer. But I'm not letting anybody, like, try to punch my face. That's where I kind of draw the line. But it's been great. I had to stop playing basketball because I have back injuries, knee injuries, all that stuff. And it's a good, like, mental workout as much as physical. You can have a bad day, and you actually, like, look forward to going and, you know, beating the shit out of your bag. And it's a good way to let off some mental, emotional steam. Yeah, we do it together, and it's fun.
You're steaming together.
Yes.
Punch.
A couple
punch.
that fights together doesn't fight at home or something.
I know. My sister-in-law asked for a punching bag for Christmas. My brother got her one and put it up in the garage, and it really helps her.
I mean, I joined right around the time that my mom got diagnosed with brain cancer. And I've always had, like, anxiety issues and a little bit of depression. And I can't tell you, like, how much just being a member of that gym helped me through all of that and not turn into, like, a crazy person as we, went through all of that. So I have Title Boxing Club to thank for that. Check them out.
Right on, Title Boxing Club. Thank you for being a place where people can let it out.
Yep.
Yeah, I think moving your muscles will help distract your brain from those things when you're
important.
Caught in a loop of either grieving or anxiety about something or a project that is pressing down on you. And if you can take a hike or ride a bike or punch the living
Write
crap
a song
out of a
or
bag.
punch a bag. One of the two. I've got options.
Yeah, writing songs, really good when you're bummed out.
Uh-huh.
Yes, for sure. And it's been great with Thomas. I find our songwriting partner who is 100% silly. Mm-hmm. So it's not always the tough topics that we tackle as a team.
I was listening to your Rat Problem song. I was laughing the whole way up here. Yeah, it was funny.
Yes, that was actually when I played that for him. It wasn't really finished yet. And I said, I'm not sure, if this is a song or not yet. But I see these freaking rats everywhere, man. They're just everywhere. And I think he's like, yes, you should write a song about rats.
Do it.
That's great.
Yeah, it was funny.
Thank you. Yeah, I like infusing humor in things for sure.
You have to.
Now, when you're playing a house party, is it normally, how do you choose which house to play at?
Well, there's a few kind of networks that you can get involved in, conferences, that sort of thing. So there's something called Folk Alliance International, and they have little offshoots, regional offshoots, where it kind of pairs house concert hosts with the artists and gives them a chance to perform for the hosts, and the hosts can kind of see who they like and want to invite. I don't want to say competitive, but limited, because there's only so many Fridays and Saturdays in a month, and usually house concert hosts will only do one a month. And so it's hard to get in there because...
And they're really in people's houses?
Yeah, it's saving the folk songwriting community, because you've seen all these venues shut down. There's not a whole lot of places for people like us to play anymore. People just don't really go out to these venues to see music anymore. So what people do is just, they say, hey, I've got a big living room. Let's push the couches over, put some chairs in. And it's not even charged. It's like a suggested donation, $20 a pop. And they give it all to the artists. They usually will put the artists up, like if they're traveling on tour. So you don't have to pay for a hotel. You make, anywhere from like $300 to $1,000. And people there are focus specifically on listening to the music. You get a chance to really talk to everybody who comes, because you're just, shooting the shit in somebody's kitchen, snacking on some Ritz crackers, and you really get a chance to get to know people, which I love that about touring. So I've been trying to really get into that. It's a tough world to break into, but what's not these days with performing live? It's hard. Hustle.
Well, yes, indeed. And as an artist, as an entrepreneur, are you self-produced? Do you have your own record company?
Jeff Berkeley did all my records with the Lovebirds. And then my friend Alex Dausch from Studios, he did my first record, and then he did this recent solo record too. And he's a home studio, and we've been playing together for years. And I trust him, and he's super talented, can play tons of instruments. And so... that's kind of how I've been doing it. I like that intimacy quality of like working with somebody you trust, because it's so important, especially as a woman going in to record your songs and wanting to make sure that somebody's just not going to take your song and turn it into something that you did not envision, So it's nice to work with a friend, as you know.
Trust your instincts.
Yeah.
And indeed.
And somebody you can say, like, without hurting their feelings, like, that's not what I had in mind. Can we try this? And them saying, yeah, like, we'll try it until we get it right, And it's really important, I think, especially as a woman, I will reiterate, because...
to be actually heard and understood and follow through.
Yeah, and not be afraid to say how you want it. Because at the end of the day, it's your name on it. You have to be proud of it, and it's super important.
Well, let's listen to the third song that you're going to hear from Lindsay White. And by the way, her website is www.lindsay.whitemusic.com.
Thank you.
And you can find all of the links to where she's playing and how to get in touch with her music and how you can hire her for your private events.
Yes.
And to read about her fabulous press and her kudos and awards. And anyway, this song is the title of your album that came out in July 2017. The record is called Lights Out, and this song is called Lights Out. Now, this has a cool video, too.
Yeah.
We get to see you in action.
You get to see me get knocked out.
Doing some boxing, but again, great video production.
Thank you.
Who do you know that's the videographer?
That one was my friend Francisco, who actually works for the Title Boxing Club. He does all their social media and stuff. And so he just, I approached him and was like, hey, do you want to help me do this? Because I have this boxing theme in mind. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And so we just shot it. We used my actual trainer, like employees of the gym, that kind of thing. So it was nice to like not feel really out of my element, even though I was doing music instead of working out. And then the Surrogate video was my friend Jamie Carvajal, who she's so good, she's so talented. She works for Tony Robbins. That's like her day job, but she's one of the most creative people I know. She's a good one to know.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So let's take a listen. This is Lights Out.
Her life was a boxing ring she never took off. Her gloves she never stopped swinging, not even for love. From the very first round to the very last bout, she boxed her way in, she boxed her way out. I never got too close, I never knew how. Everything's different with the lights out. Her faith was a lonely home she never took off. From that place she never looked out the window, not even to see my face. From the very first breath to the very last breath, she boxed her way in, she boxed her way out. I never got too close, I never knew how. Everything's different with the lights out.
Did this get written early on in your record selections of the songs that you put on it, or?
No, not really. So I kind of went into the studio thinking with like some songs in mind. And then as my mom got diagnosed and we went through all that process, slowly but surely it kind of just started morphing around this concept of grief and loss. And I didn't mean for it to be that, but that's just what I was going through. So I was just churning out these songs, and Lights Out was actually the first song I wrote right after my mom died. And the hook or whatever is everything's different with the lights out. And it's just like this idea that the moment you lose that person, everything changes and falls into perspective. And you just have this wisdom and knowledge that you wish you would have had, you know, when they were still breathing. And I like to sing it as just sort of a way to hopefully remind people that's what you should focus on, you know, like you have just this limited window of time and everything changes. So the record just kind of turned into this like statement on grief, and not grief as like a wah, I lost everyone I love, but like this is how you heal from things like this. This is why humans endure trauma and tragedy, is because then their capacity for compassion gets bigger, and all these beautiful things come in time from those negative things. And
right.
It's hard to perform that kind of stuff at house concerts. I always have this like insecurity that people are going to be like, what a Debbie Downer, because I'm like, and this one's about when I lost my grandpa, and this one's about when I lost my mom. But it's really like more about how I came out of it and what I learned about it. And it's such a beautiful way to relate to people. We talked about like people with different beliefs. I play shows in like Texas or like Middle America where people are largely conservative, Christian, like things I'm not, but I try to find ways to connect. And usually grief is like a really good connector, because we all know what it's like to lose someone, and it kind of just cuts through all the BS, you know, and people can kind of be like, yeah, she might be a raging homo, but I know what it feels like to lose my mom. And suddenly, boom, we're friends, you know? So that's the whole concept of that song, Lights Out, is like, let's focus on what brings us together.
That's so true. I know that's why I try to be silly, because I'm trying to bring
it all has a place at the table, right?
To the world, too, because that's another,
totally.
Glue, like grief. Everyone needs the humor from living in a time that doesn't agree with your soul.
You just have to find those universal languages, you know. Comedy is definitely one of them, for sure.
Speaking of languages, do you speak any other languages besides English?
No, my wife speaks Spanish, and I keep telling her to teach me, but she won't.
She won't.
She won't do it. I think her goal is like for us to have kids one day, and then her and our kid can like talk shit about me. I think she's like hoarding her Spanish lessons so she can use them against me.
Okay, now this is just totally random, but I just started thinking this thought while we were laughing about that. Do you have any stupid human tricks? Is there anything bizarre
actually,
that you can do?
I can say the alphabet backwards really fast.
Oh my gosh, that's almost like another language.
There you go. Yeah.
Will you do it for us? All right.
ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLKJIHGFEDCBA.
Whoa.
My grandpa taught me that, and it stuck. I don't know why, but it just did. I can also hula hoop pretty well, but this is pretty tight quarters.
And I'm fresh out of hula hoops.
I can air hula hoop for you. Look how good.
She's magnificent, ladies and gentlemen. I wish you could see her.
Do you have any stupid human tricks?
Oh, yeah. I can touch my tongue to my nose.
Do it.
All right.
Prove it. Oh, you did it. You did it so well.
I can also do this with my tongue.
I can do that one.
She can
Am
do
I doing
it.
it? I can only do it one
tongue.
way, though.
Oh, you can't do it both ways?
Veronica used to make me put, see how big a piece of paper I could shove in my dimples and get it
you
to
have
stay.
Beautiful dimples.
Huge crater face dimples. Do you know Jeffrey Joe? Do you remember Jeffrey Joe?
Yes.
He used to call me dent face.
Oh my gosh.
Like somebody got in a car wreck with my face.
Well, you have beautiful dimples. Does your sister have the dimples too?
She has a little bit of dimples, and she has the chin dimple.
Oh my gosh.
The chimple.
The chimple. I love it. Well, is there anything else that you want to plug?
I would just encourage you to check out my website. I have a Patreon fan page, fan club, kind of VIP Facebook group that people who really support what I'm doing and understand how hard it is to make a living at it kind of throw me $2 a month, $5 a month, whatever they can afford. And it really helps fill in those gaps when you need to fill up your gas tank to go to that show.
What's your Facebook address?
Facebook's Lindsay White Music. But if you just go on my website, there's links to everything, lindsaywhitemusic.com.
Well, I'm so glad that you reached out to us at
Me
What's
too.
Happening in San Diego.
Me too. I love this show.
I'm so glad you've been listening to
Yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah,
It's
it's great.
really exciting. You're one of our first fans.
Oh, for sure. I was listening on the way up.
Yay! And for those of you out there, just a reminder, you can listen to our podcast anytime you want. You can do it on iTunes. You can do it on the Facebook page. You can go to www.hapnyn.com and listen through the website. So many ways for
It's
you
on
to...
Spotify.
Yes,
I was listening on
and
Spotify.
it's also on Spotify. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
So I like that you were listening as you were driving, because sometimes I get bored with what's happening when I'm driving, and so I like to tune into other things to listen to. And
Yeah.
San Diego music scene is a good thing to hang out and listen to, I'll tell you that. Well, thanks again for coming. On behalf of Thomas Yearsley and his magnificent Thunderbird analog recording studio in charming South Oceanside, California, and the whole team at Hapnyn.com, thank you for bringing your music and your beautiful self and your adorable dimples to Oceanside.
Thank you. It's been fun.